To talk more about this, DePaul University history professor and security analyst Tom Mockaitis. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Good evening.
Worth noting that this is certainly not the first time that a person has essentially turned a car into a weapon.
Yeah, there have been numerous instances over the last decade. There was a famous case in London very similar to this, where an individual rammed a barricade and got out and attacked people with a knife. There was another one on Westminster Bridge. We had the incident with James Fields at the Unite the Right rally, running down and killing Heather Heyer. Vehicles, are the next best thing for many to guns. But I agree with the police officer who spoke that this does not appear to be terrorism related.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about how Capitol Police would prepare for a situation like this, how much training they receive, how much funding goes into that department. As you look at this and you look at what happened on January 6th, what do you sort of think needs to change?
Well, I think we need to stress the fact that although there was an unfortunate loss of life, the security functioned the way it was supposed to. The vehicle was stopped by a barrier that was raised. Backup quick reaction forces were deployed very rapidly. The building was secured, people sheltered in place. And I think this is the new normal. It's very sad, but it's the reality in which we live.
After 9/11, we saw Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House shut down to vehicular traffic. There was that extra fencing that was put up after the January 6th attack outside the U.S. Capitol. And there have been a lot of questions about whether or not the exterior security perimeter of the Capitol needs to be hardened. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we have to kind of let this play out a little more. The point is right now they work. They're not getting close to the building, and that's what matters. But if, I'm afraid that Representative Quigley is correct, that in fact, this is not, these attacks are not isolated incidents. This is going to continue, and that means until we have, we have better control and internal security threats, the barriers are going to have to stay up in some form. The advantage of making them permanent is they can be a bit more aesthetic and a bit less, intimidating to just ordinary visitors. But it's a challenge letting a building be accessible to the public and to the people who use it at the same time that you keep it secure.
And Tom, talk a little bit about what is known to Capitol Police about potential threats. They say that in this particular case, the suspect was not known to them. They didn't have sort of any tip that something like this could happen. What needs to change in order to make those potential threats more visible and make Capitol Police more aware of them?
Well, in this case, there's no law enforcement intelligence likely to catch an individual. It's what we call an idiosyncratic lone wolf. I've already read some reports suggesting, bizarre notions of the government controlling his mind and things of that nature. Well, the only people likely to identify someone like that are family members, friends, and those close to him. I think we're seeing vastly improved intelligence gathering on group threats, the white supremacists, the various militias, and so on. Clearly, that was not the case here. But the individual is always the hardest to catch because there's no chatter, there's no planning, there's no, really anything you can track.
All righty. Tom Mockaitis, we always appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice evening.
And stay with